intuitive consultant. Thank you for joining me today. It's been a little crazy out there, huh? It's been really crazy out there. It's kind of scary. I don't want to talk about that today. What I want to talk to you about today is why see an intuitive? Why go see a psychic? Why use this other alternative source of help and aid in your quest for self-exploration or self-betterment or self-care? I want to talk about that today. So, we are all searching for parts of ourselves. We're all getting over our childhoods. We're all finding or trying to find ways to deal with this life, trying to find ways to deal with others. And sometimes it's really difficult to step outside of yourself. And sometimes it's a different perspective is needed. I always loved going to get my palm read or go to get tarot cards read for me or seeing a $5 psychic. I did a lot of those things when I was younger, and I think in my perspective at the time, I thought of it as sort of like experiential entertainment, and that was something that was just kind of fun. It was like, let's go do this. Let's get a tattoo. Let's go to a psychic. The 90s. Anyway, so that was always something that was kind of in the periphery, and as I got older, I would still sort of be, I'd still sort of see the fun in it. And, I would, of course, ask questions about, who am I going to marry? And one psychic told me I was going to marry someone named Michael and that he was Jewish. Didn't happen. So I definitely had experiences with psychics and things like that. I always thought of these people as doing something that I wasn't able to do. I figured if it was something I was able to do, that I would be seeing dead people, and that's just not how it turned out for me. I started exploring this more when I got to middle age, and I guess themes of mortality were really prevalent in my life at the time. I had a lot of questions, and I think I was just becoming more comfortable with myself, discovering more things about myself, but also wanting to find more things about myself. So I just started asking questions, and YouTube actually became my library, a place I would visit and check out a lot of stuff. Anyway, so I was always drawn to this again, but I just never thought of it as anything that was more than entertainment. When you become an intuitive, when you decide that this is your life's work, and this is my life's work, you have to be a practitioner, not just who has a practice. You have to actually practice this stuff on yourself. One thing about being an intuitive is you operate as a channel. That is my main job. I am a channel for you. I am a channel for all the information and words and guidance that you need specifically when I'm giving you a reading. In order to be a clear channel, as clear as I can possibly be, I gotta sort through all my own stuff. So intuitives in general, the ones that you want to see, are the ones who are doing this hard work on themselves. In order for us to be as clear and genuine and authentic as possible, we have to go through a process of stripping all of our beliefs that would inhibit our ability to pass along messages. This was an ability I wanted to really develop. It's one that I had naturally. It's actually one that you have naturally as well. I just had the desire to really develop it. I was always a very sensitive person. I've spoken about that before. Turns out that sensitivity is the sort of entry point on this road, and it's something that's very important. My practice isn't separate from me. as a person. It actually incorporates everything I've ever processed, everything I've ever learned about myself, everything I've ever sort of cleared out, and brought into light my inner self, my true inner self, my core. I continue to work with my own teachers. I continue to take classes and workshops. I am always trying to get better at my craft and what I do. I'm always trying to strengthen my abilities. And as we move forward in time, man, abilities change and they expand, and you have to kind of integrate this new reality into your reality. And going through that kind of work and going through that kind of process makes me excited to do this for others. I'm a guide because I've been through a lot of this stuff. I'm a guide because I know myself inside and out. There's still some dark corners in there that I'm trying to shine lights on. But it's a constant process, and it never ends. And any spiritual person who tells you that they've gotten there is lying to you. A lot of times I meet people who are like, oh my God, I'm so amazed by people who have abilities, and I love like finding out what that's about. But it's like, I always say to them, you do too. Like, you have those abilities as well. So an intuitive reading or session with me basically starts out with me taking your name and tapping into your energetic field and working with everything that's intertwining in your soul stream before I actually meet you. So what I'm doing is I'm actually asking this energy, this consciousness, which in my perspective is a mix of your guides, your angels, your ancestors, other beings that are intertwined with your energy, your higher self, if I haven't said that already. I am tapping into this field and I'm interacting with it. So I'm asking it questions. I'm asking information. The basis of the work that I do is for the greatest good for you. So whatever comes through me is already predetermined to be what you need at that specific time. And we're constantly changing. We're constantly shifting. We're constantly moving in and out of different possibilities of timelines. So what I can explain to you is something that's going to resonate in this point of time. The reading might not make a lot of sense. I always recommend that people record everything in a phone call, record our calls, because you might get some information that doesn't make sense to you, but it might make sense later. Now, when I get this information, I have already asked, I've already kind of vetted that this is going to be information that's going to serve you. Sometimes it's not easy to hear. I am not here to tell you what you want to hear. I've had to practice to get out of that because I love telling people what they want to hear. But the truth of the matter is that doesn't help you. I'm here in my practice, not for experiential entertainment. I'm here to have you move out of your stuckness. There's a point where our energy can get stuck. That's a result of thoughts and behaviors and beliefs. And what I do is I unlock this in a way that perhaps you weren't seeing before, in a way that needs exploring in your subconscious or in your intuitive side, perhaps from an outside person who's more used to doing this. I also encourage everybody to develop their own intuition because at some point in the future, we won't need to hire people for this. Although I will say, even though I do this for others, it doesn't necessarily mean I can always do it for myself. I still go to intuitives. I still work with shamans, teachers, again, guides, because sometimes there's stuff that's happening that when I try to tap into myself, I'm just not getting it. So my job as an intuitive is to improve myself constantly, is to constantly address any of my own issues, whether they're ego-based, whether they're based in old core beliefs that just don't serve me anymore. I this is how I do it. If I was an athlete, which I'm not, if I was an athlete, it would mean working out every day. That's what I do. That's what a good intuitive does. And yes, I'm a good intuitive, I promise. So another thing that I do is I guide you with specific customized remedies. I've also called them spiritual prescriptions. So basically, this is the wisdom that comes from you, from that intertwined soul stream that I'm tapping into. Because of the way I ask questions and because of the type of questions that I ask, I get very specific information because I want to give you specific information about things that you can do outside of our work together that will help bring about this shift in your life, that will help bring about this change, whether it's excavating a part of yourself that you needed to reconnect with, or whether it's facing some wounding that needs to be healed, it needs to be made, it needs to be brought into your awareness. In my work, I've witnessed a lot of significant changes with the people that I work with. A lot of them can be traced back to these moments where they realized something that just was something that was hidden in a shadow. Again, the shadow and light, a lot of that comes from Carl Jung, but those words really effectively describe everything about what really happens on a symbolic level. My style is very soft, again, but I'm not going to tell you stuff that's always going to be pretty. Sometimes it's going to be uncomfortable, but the uncomfortable stuff is what's going to take you out of your space. We want to move you just slightly, and we do want a little bit of discomfort. If you're approaching a reading or some kind of session or healing or energy work with this idea of like, I just want to feel better, that is absolutely understandable. That's how we start. But when you work with me, I'm going to dig a little bit deeper, because not only do I want you to feel better eventually, but I want you to see the truth of who you are. And I want you to find love for that the way that I find love for it. Because the truth is, I love you. I love everyone I work with. I have to love you. If I can't feel love for you, I don't do my job. I make space for you. It's a huge deal for me to show you the respect that you deserve as a person, to give you the focus just on you that you deserve as a person. And when you work with me, that's the kind of attention that you're going to get, because you deserve it. And because you deserve to feel loved and seen and heard. You also deserve to find the truth of yourself with somebody who can make a space for that. I work really hard to make sure it's a safe space. And I don't take any engagement with a client lightly. I take it very seriously. So that is really all I've got to say today. I thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful week. Take care.